Hello Pisces, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead. How you doing, Pisces? My water family, my two fishes friends. I hope you're well. Thanks so much for clicking here. Pisces, I'm here to do a reading for the week ahead, and so I'm always reading for the week ahead, Pisces. If you've never been here before and you're brand new and you're just rolling up on all the shenanigans here, welcome. I'm always reading for the week ahead, and that means whenever you get this, today, tomorrow, or next year, it could resonate for you because, listen, we're not all on the same path, and that's why not all of you are going to resonate with this reading. But it's okay if you don't. Right? There's all sorts of playlists here at Ten of Cups Tarot if you're interested. Let's find out what's going on here. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Thank you so much for being the ride or die. I appreciate you. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about how to find private reads if you're interested, or how to find the extended to this reading if you're interested in extendeds. All right. Let's find out what's going on. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Pisces, please. We've got decrease. Well, let's find out what's about to slip through your fingers here. Tell me about Pisces. Why do we have the decrease here? Tell me about Pisces. We've got purification. Okay, so I feel like, oh, we got love on the bottom of the deck here. It does feel like something has slipped through your fingers. But I want to say, Pisces, that there's a reason for that. I feel like you were going through a purification, or you will be doing that in the future. It feels like something you wanted, you can't have. And I feel like, it's interesting that we're doing a Pisces reading and water is what's slipping through the fingers. It feels like there was an emotional bond that you may have had with someone. We've got rain here as well. It's interesting that we've got more water and you're a water sign. But I feel like you were, that you felt in lack, or that you had been through a cycle of decrease because something you wanted slipped through your fingers. It feels like you really wanted it, but it wasn't supposed to be yours. And that's usually why things are pulled off of our path, Pisces, is because we're going the wrong way, or we're not supposed to have that, or that wasn't supposed to stay on the path. But understand that sometimes we're on the path and we get people that shovel themselves onto our path because they're supposed to, but we won't let them go. But they're supposed to go. Their whole point was to come here, teach you a lesson, and leave, but you won't let them go. So I feel like something here, the universe, started with this decrease. It was like it had to slip through your fingers because it would have stopped you from getting to where you need to go. I really feel like you had to go through some type of a purification, which means we're making things clean. We're starting from the beginning. Purifying the situation. I feel like there's something here that slipped through your fingers because it was no longer necessary for your life, and so it had to be washed away. And so I feel like you're still feeling the sting of that, Pisces. It could have been a person, place, thing, a job, something you wanted, a place where you were comfortable. We've got relationships. So it could very well be a relationship we're talking about. Now, relationship doesn't necessarily mean that it is romantic, but it does mean it's emotional because we do have water here. It feels like there's a relationship that did slip through your fingers and you might still be mourning that relationship, but that's the reason. I always encourage you to never go back unless you feel like you need that lesson, because sometimes people are pulled off your path for a reason because they're not supposed to go the rest of the way with you. Says relationship, says I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So I feel like I'm talking to a Pisces that has realized that things slip through your fingers for a reason, that you've been purified in all of that, which means, that you've been cleansed of whatever it was that was on the path and was taken off from the path. And although you're still feeling emotional about it, I think that we're looking at it was probably a relationship, which means could be platonic, could be romantic, could be family, could be anybody. It's just a relationship, friendship, or love, or otherwise. We've got the teacher here. Bottom of the deck, we have a great achievement. So somebody here might be graduating with their bachelor or their master's, or somebody here is going to be a teacher. Maybe you already are a teacher in the system, but maybe you're a professor or you want to upgrade your teaching skills. I feel like you're a good teacher, whether that means spiritually or, maybe it's just academically. But it feels like somebody here in the future is going to be leveling up to be a teacher. We do have love bottom of the deck, we have transformation. There is some sort of transformational love that's coming into your life, Pisces, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We've got doubt. It says, I release the need to know all the answers. This is the hardest thing I do as a reader. When people come to me for private reads, is they want to know when, what's the time, what's the day, tell me when, how long am I waiting? And, you know, this is really what it is they have doubt. They doubt the universe. When you ask for an outcome or you want to know when it's happening, you doubt the universe. You're not interested in the journey. You just want the prize. And so it says here, I release the need to know all the answers. And I think really that's the easiest way to go through life. It really brings peace when you allow the universe to take the wheel and or whoever your deity is and just follow along. You still do have to play your part, of course, in order to get what you want. But I feel like for somebody here, something has slipped through your fingers, a relationship of some sort. And I feel like you're in doubt. You want to know. Possibly you wanted to know, when is this going to work out? And when it didn't and it fell through your fingers, you're like, well, I guess that was my teacher. That love, sometimes there's doubt, right? And I feel like it's this time around, the universe is asking you to just ride shotgun for a little bit and let things unfold as they will. Instead of trying to try and drive the bus, maybe just get in the back seat and let someone else do it for a bit. Let the universe drive. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter, please, for the week ahead. Tell me about Pisces. We've got the Four of Swords. So you are healing from something that you feel just slipped through your fingers. Something that you couldn't. No, and I feel like it's just a beautiful depiction of water, because there's no way you can keep the water in your hand, right? And I feel like there was nothing you could have done to keep this relationship together. There was nothing you could have done about it. I think this is already over. I don't think I'm talking to anybody who's in a relationship that's failing. I think this is already done. And look, this could be a relationship with your parents or a member of your family. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. We've got the devil, the release. I love this in the purification, because it's almost like the devil's released somebody and this is the baptism. It feels like the purification is a little bit of a baptism, and the devil being here in the reverse is lovely, because it feels like you have been released to whatever was binding you. See, understand that I feel like whatever slipped through your fingers for a reason. I feel like with the Four of Swords here that you're healing from this now, but I feel like it was supposed to release you for a reason here. I feel like you would have been stuck or felt really bound or attached to whatever that was. We've got the Death card. There is a relationship that has come to an end. Like that couldn't be any clearer, right? There's a relationship here. It says, I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So I think that the reason that this relationship didn't work out for you, whatever capacity it was for you, is because it wasn't supposed to. I feel like it was supposed to transform you. It wasn't supposed to keep you. So it says, I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. And I feel like this relationship had to go because it was no longer in the vibration you were traveling to. And if you would have kept this relationship, you would have been stuck in the vibration. You wouldn't have been able to travel forward on the path. I'm going to put down a couple of cards here. And this is going to be for the week ahead, but this is going to be for the week after that, or going further into September. This is going to cover the September 21st partial eclipse, right? The new moon eclipse. And so we're going to find out what's happening here. We've got the Lovers and we've got the Three of Swords. So it does indicate all the way along, right, that there is some sort of relationship that I feel you are either probably looking back on this and realizing that it was a transformational relationship, but that it had to end. It probably did end in heartbreak, but it does feel like love was the teacher. Love was supposed to be the teacher. It wasn't supposed to be the place where you bought the house. It was supposed to be the place where you popped the tent for a while, learned the lesson, and then moved on. Tell me about this decrease and what we're healing from here. What's Pisces healing from? We've got the Nine of Cups. We've got the Eight of Wands. And we've got the Six of Swords. I really do feel that if you would have stayed in this relationship, if you could have, however it would have been, however you would have saved it, if you could have done that, I feel like it would have continued to fall through your fingers until it was gone. And it would have been far more painful to move on, because we got the Ten of Swords here. It would have been far more painful for you to move on after this crashed and burned, rather than for it to dissolve in the most natural way. You know how, like, when they do sitcoms, right? If you're from the sitcom era, right? The sitcoms, they would usually decide to go 10 seasons. They would sign on for 10 seasons or 12 seasons, but they always wanted to leave the situation when they were on a high. They don't want to leave the situation like where people are like stopped watching because it's boring them to death. That's what this feels like. It feels like you were supposed to leave before the crash and burn came. And so the Six of Swords and the Eight of Wands is telling me that you had your eye on something else in the future. Maybe you wanted a new job, or maybe you wanted something else to happen in your future, and you couldn't take whoever this was with you into that era with you. So it ended up being a lesson in pain, or a lesson in release, right? This is the letting go. The Ten of Swords is, although it can be a painful end, it was also the letting go. So I feel like that in order to be happy, Nine of Cups, you really had to move forward here with the Eight of Wands, and it had to be done in a pretty quick, pull away kind of way. And whether that person pulled away from you or you pulled away from them, I feel like you were supposed to, because the Six of Swords is here. And the Six of Swords is telling me to tell you that if you would have stayed any longer, it would have been complete and total chaos. So I feel like, again, we've got more water, right? The Six of Swords is here saying that you needed to get to a calmer place. And so I feel like this is the middle of the week here. I feel like you realize that this release of the devil here with this purification brought you to a place that although you are single, you are stable, and that you are confident, and you had this glow up. It feels like whatever released you finally, whatever the decrease was, put you at a place in your life where it gave you more options. And I think that you had to get to that place of confidence and doing it by yourself, building it by yourself, feeling stronger, standing alone, standing on your own and doing it alone. I feel like you had to get to that place first, or you have to get to that place first before you can look back and understand why the decrease happened. We've got the Two of Swords here. For some of you, you're fighting letting go is what it is. You don't want the devil energy with you, which is doubt and fear and obsessive thinking, and I can't let that go. You don't want to let go of the thought process or the person or something like that, but I feel like that's what the Two of Swords is telling me. But I feel as though going forward into the new week that you're going through some sort of a baptism or a purification. And I feel like when you begin to feel less defensive, that's when you're finally going to let the memory go. Because understand, we're looking at swords. I feel like it's in your mind. I don't feel like you're holding on to a person physically. I feel like it's the thoughts you can't get rid of. And I feel like this devil in the reverse tells me that you're being released to this place of, feeling a little more cleansed, purification here, starting at the beginning. And it feels like there's going to be far more options, but you don't see those options yet. And so that's why possibly you're still holding on to the past. We've got the Death and we've got relationships. Tell me about this. We've got the Queen of Swords. So this relationship was actually one that was supposed to bring you to your Queen of Swords energy, teach you how to stand up for yourself, teach you how to liberate yourself, how to liberate your words, how to do it by yourself, how to put your boundaries in place. This relationship was never meant for you to cling to it for the rest of your life, even though you may have wanted it. We've got the Two of Pentacles. It was a relationship that taught you that you can stay stable even when things are a little bit busy or chaotic around you. It was a relationship that taught you how to choose your boundaries over anything. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. And I feel like this is something that probably was confusing and hurtful, but I also feel like you began to build a new foundation with the Three of Pentacles. So I feel like the decision needed to be made in the 3D for you to release or transform because this was no longer here. It feels like it was something that was cut from you, because the Death card is, that's something that ends. It's done. And it's not a slow end. It's like, boom, it's out. And I feel like that was the hard part. And I'm saying it's harsh because the Queen of Swords is here. The Queen of Swords would just cut it and be done with it, right? I feel like you come to this place where you're ready to offer. I think right now, you're not necessarily, some of you are not ready to offer something to someone, but I feel like going forward, after this new moon comes, this new cycle shows up here, I feel like you're going to be ready to offer just a little bit of time, effort, or energy to someone here. So we do have the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords and the Lovers is a choice. And I want to say, I know you're not going to agree with me, all of you, but Three of Swords is a choice. And once you begin to heal from the lack that you are going through, 3 and 2 is 5, I feel like it becomes a choice, the Three of Swords. Being heartbroken, looking back there, being connected, because look, the universe is releasing you and the cycle is over, but I feel like you might be still hanging out here in the Three Swords, but understand that that's a choice. We're going to put down 3 cards here. We are going to go to the extended, and if you're interested in the extended, please come with us. At the top of the comments section, there is always, and under every video I have is pinned a comment there, and in that comment, you can purchase this one-off if you'd like to do that, this particular reading, or you can go to the membership area where you get a whole bunch of extended readings for the price of one. And if you're interested in private readings, I am doing live readings, and I'm also doing pre-recorded readings. So if you'd like to pre-record, we can do that, but the live readings is where all the sales are. If you'd like to pre-book with me, I'm getting booked up already for next week. I'm so grateful to have people booking with me. So if you're interested in that, you will get a discount just simply by booking ahead, and anywhere between 5 and 75% off. All right, let's look at what is coming up here. Put down 3 cards and we'll find out what we're talking about in the extended. So I'm going to be clarifying all of this because we haven't even looked at this yet. The choice of the Three of Swords and how you can get out of that. We've got the Page of Cups. Something new is showing up here, but it almost feels like you are feeling like this can't be for me. This can't be right. How is this showing up for me? Like it feels like you're overthinking it. There is some sort of surprising, exciting, sweet kind of new beginning here. It could be with a person. It could be you finally listening to your intuition. We've got the Five of Swords. I said 3 and 2 is 5. We've got the Five of Swords. It's like you're fighting a new beginning because you can't yet let go of the thought process that I don't think you've caught up with the decrease yet. Still feel like the water's falling through your fingers, and I don't think you've quite caught up with the fact that it's over and not coming back. So we're going to talk more about that. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about what kind of relationship this was and how it came to an end, because I think it came to an end in a really abrupt kind of way. We'll talk about that and how you can heal from that if that's you and you're having a hard time carrying on. We'll look at that. The shift is here, my friend. There's nothing you can do about it. When the major arcana shows up, the Tower, the Death card is here, the Devil here in the reverse, and the Lovers is here. This is coming at you 100%. The only choice you have is how to respond or how to react, and that's totally up to you. But the shift is here, and you can't stop the shift, so you got to go with it, my friend. It's going to open new paths. The only time that the Tower shows up in the future is when something needs to be released or an obstacle needs to be cleared away so you can continue to move to your higher self, to a place of solid structure, sturdy, doing the right thing, building the right structure in your life. So we're going to go to the extended. We're going to talk about what's on the bottom of the deck as well. If you'd like to be there, I would love to see you there. And if you are someone who is not going there, that's cool, because I'll be back. Y'all know I'm going to be back with more bonus reads. I'll be back because I'm always back. You guys take care. See you if you're back. Bye-bye.